Alright, maggots, welcome to the basics. So, in order to really enjoy the Fallout experience, you're going to want to build a home. No, I'm just kidding, I'm actually going to start with the basics. Okay, whenever you first start, one of the main things you're going to be wanting to know in order to actually survive during combat, or anything that thereof, you press circle. You're going to want to always stay on the item tab. This is your friendly space. It's your safe space. You go here to select your weapons, apparel, and aid. Now, after you select your weapons and all that, this is just kind of a tip and trick. Once you select all that, and you have all your armor equipped, always stay on the aid tab. Because thanks to this being an online game, whenever you shoot and in the heat of battle you're about to frickin' die, well, then you kind of need to quickly go to the aid and eat some mac and cheese. Now, during the heat of combat, you may notice VATS, where you press L1, which obviously there is no enemies to do here at the moment. But anyways, you press L1 and it'll enable VATS. Now, in the previous games, VATS would slow time. Considering this is an online game, that's no longer an option. So, pretty much what VATS is done for nowadays is it just automatically aims your gun for you during the heat of battle. So if you're getting over encumbered by a bunch of freaking enemies and obviously you start to panic, you just press L1 and start shooting. Now, you will notice that it doesn't last forever. That is because at the bottom right hand corner, for some reason my AP is still draining, the AP will be used during your VATS usage. So AP is what is used for sprint, and it is also used for jumping, and it is also used for VATS. As you can see, the bottom, that's kind of a standard compass. It'll show you custom markers that you've done, show you missions and multiple different things, and on the left finally is your health. Now, I've had a problem with keeping an eye on my health, so make sure that you constantly remind yourself to look at it. Now, you may notice at the bottom right hand corner, right below the AP bar, there is an armor symbol. That is because some of the armor I have is almost completely destroyed. Actually, it is destroyed. The muffled polished metal leg is completely destroyed. You'll see the condition bar, and it'll tell you that it's gone. So you're going to want to constantly make repairs to your armor and other stuff. Sometimes there'll be a weapon thing showing by your AP bar. You need to repair your weapon as quickly as possible, because the equipped weapon that you currently have will almost immediately go away. So that is one thing you are always going to want to keep an eye on, especially during the heat of battle. You got a lot of things you may want to be looking at. Now, let's go to inviting people to teams and social space and all that stuff. You press options. Obviously, that takes you to your standard map and all that BS. Oh, look. Someone's already over there. Get away from my area. Anyhow, you press R1 for social, and then you can see all your friends and all that actually play the game. You can go down, for instance, my standard is always to immediately go for Hellraiser if he's online, or Big Dur, SW Reb. These guys are my go-to teammates. What happens is whenever you press it, obviously right now they're offline, so I can't show you, for instance, but you can mute them, block for session, or you can even invite to team, and I believe it also shows on that specific tab that you can invite, or that you can fast travel to them. For instance, I'll just use this guy as an example. You press X, you can add him as a friend. Oh no, that's how you add people. But there will be different people that you're allowed to. You'll be able to do that through here to add teammates. Now, back to the Pip-Boy. If you're ever curious about your stats or what is constantly killing you, go to Effects, and it'll show you exactly what is either draining your health what is wrong with your rads, what's all currently going on with your character. Special shows you all the level of all your perks on your special bar and what you have. And for instance, right now, my perception is lowered because the gas mask minuses 4 perception. Now, this will show you kind of what's wrong with your limbs if you just got done getting raped by a deathclaw. Obviously, you're going to have some limb damage. You can use a stim pack to completely get rid of those, or you can just wait a few minutes for it to heal back up. Now let's go to the items. Obviously, the standard weapons, apparel, aid, mystic, and that thereof. As you can see, I'll show you with the missile launcher. It's easier to see. The condition is right below the level bar, and it'll tell you, just like I told you earlier, what the health of the weapon is. Below it is the damage, and that is how much, well, that's kind of self-explanatory. Missiles is how much ammo you have for it. I have none. I used it on a shit ton of Mirelurks. They were scary. The fire rate, that's also self-explanatory. Essentially, it's very, very slow to shoot. Range is how far it'll go. Accuracy is how likely you are to hit the thing. That's kind of obvious as well. Weight is a big thing in this game, and I will get to that later on. And value is how much you could possibly sell it to a vendor for, which so far I kind of went to a vendor so I could sell this thing. I was barely able to get 9 caps, so I was like, hell no. So you need to level up your charisma and get a perk card to allow you to actually sell anywhere near that close, but we'll get to that later. Now, at the very tippy top, you may have noticed it says level 20. That is what level you have to be before you can use it. That's pretty much how all these things work, except for melee weapons. There we go. For speed, it'll say medium. That's how fast you can actually hit. This is medium speed. And really fast is just really, really fast. I don't think I have one. Golf clubs are slow. This is an example of how slow a golf club is. Next on the list is apparel, and it'll show you at the very tippy top, right where it's showing the blinking guy, prevents damage from disease and airborne, waterborne hazards. What all that is radiation is obviously your worst enemy in this game, no matter what. It's just environmental shit, and it sucks. It'll help prevent you from disease and all that stuff, such as parasites and everything else. And thankfully, this is one of those costumes that will actually go over your armor and will not remove, like, your left leg armor, your left arm armor, and nothing like that will go away. Except I got a prison collar. I'm a prison bitch. Anyways, after that, we go down to aid. Aid, as you can see, it'll show you how many rads it'll give you for consuming the item. Yes, you actually get radiation from certain things. But it also gives you 50 health over time. That is what that little clock is to the left of the 50. It says that it's going to heal you over time. Granted, it is a short period of time, but still nonetheless. Blood leaf, it'll tell you your disease chance, and how much food it'll increase is only 1%, so that kind of sucks. Brahman meat, disease chance, and food, it'll give you 18%, and it also shows the weight, the value of the item. With meat and stuff like this, you're going to want to cook it as soon as possible. It'll increase the amount of food it gives you, and almost no disease chance. And it'll also get rid of some of the radiation, not all of it though. Buff out and other different types of meds and chems, they help you with specific things. For instance, with the buff out, it gives you 2 strength, 2 endurance, and it gives you 25 more max health for 5 minutes. However, it does increase your thirst, which if you have plenty of, drinks and stuff like that, it's not really an issue. But that is something to watch out for. If you're almost out of something to drink, then your AP bar will pretty much get a big red bar in it because you're thirsty. And if you don't drink, then part of your AP bar will just, it's just bad. So as you can see right here, I have some rad roach that I had grilled, and it's less rads, it gives you more health, and it even increases your endurance by 1 for a little while, and then your food is 12%. I believe for this one it was actually 8%, so it does give you a little bit more. And Gulper Slurry is one of the ones that it's food, but it also gives you a perk. For instance, if you're in water, even if your feet are just in water, it'll make you invisible for 10 seconds. So just keep an eye out. Over time, you'll get the gist of it. Just continue reading up on what you have. Now, miscellaneous items, most of the time whenever you have like bobby pins or copper or anything like that, it'll always put it right here, such as keys, some other different types of little stuff. And even quest items will wind up appearing here. Most of the time they don't weigh anything, but keep an eye on it, because I believe it was the ore up here, it was gunpowder. See, it weighs a little bit, not much, but just keep an eye on your weight. We will get to that later. Holotapes. You'll be picking these up throughout the world, and some of them will enable quests, some of them are just there for story purposes. So if you're ever playing alone and want to listen to some cool things, just go to the holotape. Or the radio. Radio is always best for me. Notes. Notes will also enable some quests, and also, let's see if I can find one around here. Recipes and plans. If you don't know one, a recipe, for instance, for blowed leaf, or bloatifly leaf, you can hit X to learn it, and you'll immediately learn the recipe for whatever area you go to. So if you were to go to any specific cooking station and you have any bloatifly meat, then you will automatically be able to cook a bloatifly loaf. Plans like a water filter allows you to make purified water without having a water purifier, and I believe it's a one-time usage for that specific, but anyways, you can learn that and you'll be able to build it throughout your camp. Little things like this will help you. Now, junk. Junk is something that is both necessary and useful. Kind of. Let me explain. Now, whenever it comes to weight, this is usually where all of it's from. Like, for instance, right there, a hubcap. That is 2.25 pounds, and it's taking up my weight. You'll see your weight at the bottom left-hand corner, but I have a specific topic for that. But, obviously, as you can see, where it says, right above where it says the weight, it'll say it gives you 2 screw and aluminum. That is some of the ingredients you'll need for mods or repairs or anything, something that you have to craft. So you're gonna want to do that. Now, mods, a lot of times throughout the world you may find just they kind of look like wooden blocks, and they have a little logo on it, and it's a modification for weapons, armor. It just depends. And they'll appear here. They weigh a lot, or sometimes they weigh a lot. So keep an eye on here. That way you can put it in your stash box or something like that, and then we'll go from there. Ammo also has weight, which sucks, but always keep an eye on it so you can put what you're not using at that exact moment in your stash box. Because, for instance, this mini nuke weighs 6 pounds, and it sucks. So just keep an eye on all your ammo. Basically, this area is just so you can sort it. Alright, and with data, you're able to see your main quest, side quest, daily, and event. Pretty much they're all different quests that you've either already completed below this line, or stuff that you see on the right of your screen, top right. All of that's there. That's what you're seeing on the right. and you're able to toggle them active by pressing X, and you're able to, get rid of them off your screen or put them back. Same with miscellaneous, and it's kind of weird because, some of them just automatically do it, and it's kind of like, what the hell. But anyhow, this is where you manage your quests and stuff. Then you can go to radio. Obviously, if I were to play the radio, I could get my video taken down, and honestly, I don't even think it goes through anymore. I think they fixed that. So, anyways, you can play the radio. It's usually all that 50s crap. I'd just rather go to Spotify and, jam out. So, anyhow, that pretty much concludes the basics. I guess the last thing for basics would be to how to get your camp, which for my fellow Durs, they already know how. Either I or someone else has already shown them. What you do is you open up your Pip-Boy, and then L1 to move camp. Me, I'm already at my camp, so I'm not going to do that. I believe the first time is free, but if you keep moving it, it'll cost, right there it says 18 caps. So just whenever you first start out, when you have like no caps, just have that in mind. So now, other than that, I'm going to go into the next portion of it. I'm not a fan of reading scripts or anything whenever I do these how-to videos, but give me a second while I look at my script because it's keeping me in line. So, anyways, after the basics, I guess the first thing you're going to be wanting to know is, well, what is there to do for fun? You can get guns, you can get a golf club, what the hell can you do in this game? Well, if you have friends, you get to go out and explore the world. Yesterday, me and Barry, we had a blast just going around the world.
I heard that.
No, he didn't. We even had Billy come in, and we all just kind of continued exploring and killing monsters. It's fun when you're able to play with friends. So what we did is we didn't follow really any quests or anything like that. We went from place to place to place, just exploring the world. That's one of the best things that you can do with friends, is just to explore the world and do events. Now, if you're by yourself, it's kind of like, well, what can you do by yourself? In general, what I like to do whenever none of my friends are on or anything like that, I either improve my house with the camp system, and from there, I just continue to level up. That's kind of my go-to thing for a little while, is to just constantly build and just, mess with my weapons, tinkering, and stuff like that. Now, if you're actually wanting to go outgoing and stuff like that, one of the things I like to do before my friends get on is to go ahead and get all of my junk needs so that I can continue to modify my weapons. Go ahead and get the main quests out of the way, because not all of your friends enjoy doing that. It's a bit of a hassle in this game. However, side quests are pretty fun and events. If not, I'd recommend going to different events like in the Flatwoods and the Grafton territories. Lower levels would definitely want to stay in the Flatwoods area and do some events, knock that out so you can level up and go to your perk cards. And I guess last but not least is just going around and exploring for yourself. Going around, make new friends. Some of the best fun I've had by myself on here was just going around and continuing to explore it for myself. Now, throughout your game, obviously, if you're going out, whether you're with friends or not, having fun throughout the world, gathering junk and weapons and stuff, they're just absolutely freaking phenomenal at times. The leveling system kind of sucks that you can't get all of the weapons that you want right then and there. However, while you're running around and playing, you may notice a very and particularly sad part. Which brings me to my next topic. Why am I so slow? As you can see, when you're over encumbered, whenever you walk, it takes away your AP. And obviously, as you know, that's used for many things, and you can't run, you can't sprint, or anything like that. So there's no point to that. So my best advice that I can give as far as over encumbered and stuff, always try your best to put anything that you can spare into your stash box. Your stash box will always be your friend until you hit the 400-pound cap, which really, 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 really sucks. But in order to, I noticed that, like, at first whenever I was doing my playthrough, one thing I wasn't doing, and if you ever have a lot of stuff in your stash box but you don't really feel like you've put a lot in there, go to your junk, and anything that's not in bulk, grab. For instance, aluminum scrap, bone shards. Me, I ain't got enough to bulk that. Anyhow, whenever you bulk an item, it actually makes it smaller, and you can bulk items in your Tinkerer's Workbench right here. You go over there. First thing you're going to want to do before you bulk it is to scrap it. Now, it doesn't get rid of any of your supplies or anything that it gives you. When you scrap all junk, you see there's glass, aluminum, steel, and all that. That's what I would get from all the junk I have. So the hammer, instead of being an actual hammer that weighs, say, 5 pounds, it'll scrap it for the steel and wood, and it'll make it from 5 pounds to roughly maybe a pound. It's a good way to clear space and keep things nice and tidy. See, I'm going from 195 to 83. You know, it helps keep your stuff down. Always go through anything and everything, such as a flare gun. I have no need for that. Just constantly go through your inventory and get rid of anything that you know for a fact you do not want or need. Or give it to one of your friends or something else. Offer it to them, I guess. And just continue this trend. And then always scrap your junk afterwards. And then, once you're done with that, you can, you know, like I was saying before, go to your Tinker's Workbench. And as long as you have plastic to wrap it in, you can bulk the items. See, I have 19 aluminum, and it'll take 10 of those, and it'll bulk it. And instead of each individual piece of aluminum costing like 0.5 pounds or something like that, I'm just using guesstimates, then it'll turn it to 0.38 pounds. It'll make everything lighter, and then you can restore all your junk in your stash box. Now, of course, over time, having fun and playing, you tend to level up. That's how most video games work. So, you may be wondering, well, this leveling system, it says I leveled up, what the hell am I supposed to do? In order to access that, you go to your Pip-Boy, and you go to Stats. Then you hit triangle. If you had just leveled up, it'll say level up instead of perks. But either way, you go to perks, and then it'll allow you to choose a strength, or perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, or luck. It will not show these cards at first. It'll actually say one of the special perks, or one of the special sections. And whenever you click on one, depending on which one you want, you can actually go, depending on which one you want, if you were to pick perception, instead of it saying perception 3 up there, it'll actually turn it to perception 4. Over time, it'll level them up. And then, after you level up, it'll give you the option to look at cards. Now, before you immediately pick whether or not you want to get another perk for strength or perception or endurance, stuff like that, you can actually go down whenever it's showing you the cards or whatever. Whenever you first select strength, you do not immediately purchase it. It'll show you the cards that you will be able to pick from. Then you'll be able to press R1 to cycle through cards that it is offering you if you were to level up that specific thing before you decide to level up, say, charisma or intelligence, and then you'll be able to pick from there. And then once you do it, your charisma will change from 2 to 3 for me, and then you can see all of your old cards, and you can cycle through them easy by the same way, pressing R1 to filter through them. You can cycle through the actual special perks, or you can actually go, ones that are rank 1, they only cost 1 or cost 2, different things like that. There's multiple ways around this. Building with camp. As I showed you, you press circle to open your Pip-Boy, then you press L1 to do your camp, and then you're able to also actually build. Now, building can be a little complex as of late. There are a lot of bugs at the moment. I've already built everything that I need to build, but once you place, say, a foundation, you can snap objects to the foundation. As you can see, it's quite glitchy, but you can, snap it to there, and then you can build floors on top of them. And there's a lot of things you can do with crafting, and it allows you to even you can add locks to your doors. You can that way you can protect it from other players. There's crafting, so you can cook. There's multiple deals like that. Even turrets, so that you can help defend. As you can see, I got a lot there. You can place food, water. And electricity is probably one of the most difficult things to understand for newcomers. So, basically, as you can see, it produces 5. This one also produces 5. And the only thing right now that I need that requires power is this. And it requires 8 power. So, that's why I have to have 2 5s for 10. So, I have two more energy I can play with. You connect them both using wires by hitting triangle. And then you'll be able to attach, for instance, you just hit triangle, and then you put this in somewhere else and put triangle to connect it. You can do multiple things like that, and they'll give you, like this will give you purified water, depending on what all different types of things that require power. They'll give you different things. Some appliances, like for instance the lights, as long as there is a generator or a power line like that by it, or conduits, all around, any lights or object that requires electricity will automatically light up. And that was pretty much a quick run through of the camp, but over time you'll need to find plans throughout the world or buy it from certain vendors. Like, see this one, this resource creates fertilizer, water. You can pump it to get water. This automatically pulls water and automatically purifies it for you. There's multiple different things. Now, the next thing I'm going to be showing you is both mods and power armor. Mods, all you got to do is hit triangle on, say, if you're wanting to modify weapons and stuff like that, you hit triangle to modify or repair. To repair is quite simple. All you got to do is go down to, like that, I need a repair. You just hit triangle, and then you can repair it. I'm not going to repair it because it's not quite damaged enough for me to really care. But that is all you got to do. And then the modify, for instance, I'll try modifying this. You just press X and it'll show you multiple different sections that you can modify. Snappy receiver, you can actually go to calibrated receiver and they'll give you different perks, like fire rate would be faster with hair trigger receiver. Hardened receiver will increase its damage. True receiver gives better accuracy. It'll allow you to do that for different weapons. And if you were to shorten certain areas, it could actually reduce range, and it can add weight, or you just got to play around with your mods to whatever suits you best. And as long as you have the things, you can automatically craft it, and it'll add it to your weapon. However, for things like this, if you do not have what it requires, like I can't make a medium scope, but The reason why is because of Gunsmith. I need the perk for that. That is also in the leveling. It's a card that you can get, and however, if not, I'm trying to find something here right quick. Nope, I pretty much have everything for everything. If you can't find resources, all you got to do is press R3, and it'll automatically pin those things. Like for instance, right now I have adhesive and circuitry on the search because I ran out of that a while back. Adhesive is the main thing that almost anyone's always gonna have to look out for. But you can do that with any of them. Legendary weapons, if you can't sell them, so if you can't use them or have no desire to use them, try giving them to another player or one of your friends, or sell them to a vendor. They don't give you as much as I'd care to get, but definitely try selling them or anything like that, because you are not allowed to scrap them, which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, now we're going to look at power armor. In order to access it, all you got to do is go to your apparel, and it'll be power armor chassis. It'll allow you to place it somewhere, and there you go. Press X to enter. For me, I actually modified my controls a while back, I believe. I can't remember if this is the standard or not. Either way, once you're in the power armor, it'll show your health to the left. It's a little bit more difficult to see. I've noticed I'm a little less prone to look at it whenever I'm in power armor, so always keep an eye on your health. It's in speedometer format, pretty much. And it's kind of annoying. The rads thing that's right next to it, whenever you consume food, or if you're in like water or whatever, it'll show you how many rads you're contracting. It'll go up and down. Compass is still standard in the middle. Now the core, this is one thing that you need to pay attention to. One of the best things you can do, if you are not in a dire need for your power armor, do not use it, as fusion cores can be a bit of a pain to find. So if you run out of juice and you're on your last power core, your armor cannot be used. It will go back to your apparel, and you cannot use it until you find another power core. So what I recommend is doing kind of what I did, is I don't use it until I have somewhat of a decent amount. Right now I still have 9, but over time, as you can see, there's a 0 to 100. Starts out at 100 and goes to 0, and I believe, if I remember correctly, an entire core lasts 45 minutes, if I recall, maybe an hour. I'm not 100% certain on that, but always keep an eye on that. Now, your standard AP bar is just like the health. It's in a speedometer format, pretty much. It's kind of weird, but that's where that's at. And one of the main things that I cannot show you, unfortunately, because I have to find plans for it, is that you have to, because I do not have plans for it, is using a power armor station in order to improve and modify your armor. Obviously, right now, I am using just a blank skin, but T45 helmet and legs and all that stuff, or T60, it's all different. And as you can see, it'll say what level it is. It's kind of crappy how the leveling system works here, but you can actually modify all this, paint it or whatever at a power armor station. There are plenty around the world if you don't have it. Let me just show you right quick what it looks like so you can keep an eye out for it. This is a standard one. There's also this one, and I think it's just these two that you need to look out for, and you can actually modify your power armor there, but you cannot modify the actual chassis, the thing that I have on blank right now. No armor's on it, so there's nothing to modify for me until after I level up enough to be able to use the power armor that I have in there. But that's pretty much it as far as power armor goes. Just keep an eye on your cores. One of the only other things I need to tell you about the power armor is whenever you go to a crafting table, you cannot do this in power armor. It'll even say it right there. So you're going to have to always exit before you go to craft or go to bed or anything like that. One thing that is not necessarily to do with power armor, but it's something I think I forgot to say, is on a bed. If you rest, it will actually heal you up. It will not get rid of your rads, to my knowledge, but it will get rid of... it will heal you up. There's black titanium ore in here. These craters.
Oh.
One final thing that is a bit of a fun fact about power armor is, well, you suffer from no fall damage. None. It doesn't matter how high it is, you will never be able to contract fall damage while in power armor. Even if it is just the chassis. Which is freaking amazing. Alright, that'll conclude it for me. If you like this, please give this video a thumbs up. And I will see y'all in the next how-to for Durs. I am Darren Muncie, and I approve this video.
What in the fuck?
To repair, it is quite simple. All you gotta do is, if this ever fucking loads, any day now. Any day now. Okay, let's try this again. Finally! Okay, now as I was saying...